I'm the color red in a world full of black and white.
Brace for the change, brace for the rage, brace for the wave. I've been going through it. Y'all know the pain, driving me insane, deep in your veins. Y'all know how I prove it. Step through the lanes, gripping the grain. Miles an hour, yeah, miles of fluid. Mask on, asking, why should I do it? Because no one is moving. I came from the swamp, the mud. Algorithm told me I was the plug. Feel for the fiend, you know what I mean. I've been through all of the lesson and hugs, and that is because I've had an all hope who enter here. So listen clear, I made your dreams. Fireflies don't disappear.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Fireflies Forever. We got a lot to talk about this week, so really looking forward to chatting with all of you in the chat, as well as my good friend Chris. Chris, how are you this week, man?
Doing really good.
Good, man. Good. We got a lot to talk about.
Yes, we do.
Funny story behind the scenes. So we're getting the Wyatt Sicks match on Friday night. I text Chris because I'm excited. Chris was at the Pacers game. He's like, "Don't spoil it." So I didn't spoil it, but yeah, we're gonna talk about it today. So
I had to go watch it after I got done with the Pacers game to see it because I was like, "Oh, I know something good happened then," so I gotta go watch it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Thank all of you for joining us in the chat. Let me shout out the folks that have commented so far. We've got Clown, Jeremy Dunderman, a member of the channel, Deanna. Hopefully you're feeling well, Deanna. Diana, Zach, and yeah, that's everybody that's commented so far. So Chris, let's get into some memories as we always do each week. We've got some memories that Chris is sharing with us. So Chris, I'll have you kind of set it up, and I'll just go through the pictures real quick if that's okay.
Yeah. So I got to go to St. Louis this past weekend. Me and my buddy went to an IndyCar race. They had a night race on Sunday night there, and kind of a last minute thing that we got to go to this. So, you know, as you see in these pictures here, I've got a lot of history going to St. Louis with Jodie and Logan. We used to go there every year for her birthday so she could go get a tattoo from Kyle. So, just really made me think a lot about her going there. And the hotel that we stayed at was literally right in front of the arch there. So, you know, I just got to see it several times, and yeah, it just really brought me back to some of these pictures of the times that we went there and stuff. And I couldn't remember if I'd ever showed these before or not, so I figured I would show them on here and let you guys see.
And this one, don't worry, I have a bigger image of the sign.
Okay. Yeah, that if you've never been to St. Louis, the Arch is a pretty incredible site there. It's really, really neat to go see it. So the funny story with this, I noticed this sign. I was driving, me and my buddy, on the way to St. Louis, and I saw this sign, and I would have, if I wouldn't have been driving, I would have taken a picture of it myself. I was like, "Oh wow, look at that Firefly Grill." And I ended up looking that up to see what that was. It's a restaurant, which I'm going to have to go back and visit now someday. It looked like a really good restaurant, too. But, yeah, I saw this sign, and I was like, man, I even tried finding a picture of it online because I wanted to talk about it. I was like, what are the odds, you know, driving down the road, and here I see this sign for a restaurant called Firefly Grill. You know,
yeah.
Made me think of Jodie, like always, anything with fireflies. And then I'm looking through. I knew that Jodie had some more pictures than what I had of our trips to St. Louis. So I was looking through her pictures, found this picture. Didn't even remember her ever telling me about it, that she had seen this on one of our trips to St. Louis and took a picture of it. So lo and behold, I couldn't find a picture of it online anywhere, and I find it looking through her pictures. So I thought that was pretty funny.
That's wow. That's amazing. You didn't tell me about these pictures, but I knew that there had to be something.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I was like, okay, I'm gonna put this picture with those.
Yeah.
But I'm also gonna make it larger so people can see.
Yeah. Go back to. Do you have some of the other ones from there? Is that one? Okay, maybe I didn't send you that one. I had one where you could kind of see the hotel that we stayed at right behind the arch, but that's okay. It was right by there, so it was.
Is that it right there in the background?
I may not have sent you that one. I don't know. I couldn't remember, but not a big deal. Oh yeah, and these ones. I don't know if anybody who knew Jodie knew how much he loved horses, and we were walking down right along the Mississippi River there next to the arch. They do like carriage rides and stuff, and so we had to go down there, and so she could see the horses that were down there. Her and Logan really enjoyed that.
That's amazing. Well, thank you, man, for sharing.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I had not seen these before, so but yeah, that Firefly grill, man. You truly are the Firefly whisperer.
I know, it's crazy.
You are.
I thank Jodie for that. I love seeing them, and every time I do, I think of her. Think of Bray.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, well, it's over in Effingham, Illinois. It's like a couple hours from me. I'm definitely gonna have to go over and visit that restaurant someday because it actually looks like a pretty amazing restaurant. It's won a bunch of awards and stuff.
Well, that's. Did you have a good time at the race?
Oh yeah, it was awesome. Night races in IndyCar are pretty rare. They don't happen very often. So we've been to one in St. Louis once before a few years ago. So it was awesome to get to go to another one.
Yeah, man, we'll have to. I've not spent a lot of time in St. Louis, so that's something I want to do.
It's a really cool city. Lots of cool things to do and see. Really good food there too. They I don't know if you've ever heard of it. They have their own style of pizza, St. Louis style pizza.
Yeah,
really different tasting, but I love it. We got one after the race. It was amazing. They use a different kind of cheese. They don't use mozzarella cheese. It's a cheese called Provel cheese, which is a blend of like Swiss, provolone, and American, I think it is. So it tastes very different than regular pizza, but I like it a lot. Man,
yeah, I'm gonna have to try it because I love all kinds of pizza.
Yeah, me too. I'm not picky when it comes to pizza.
Me either. All right, so we'll get into we've got some artwork this week, and I gotta be honest, we've got a tattoo that I can't wait to show you guys. So I had to show it to Chris before the show started. So yeah, you'll love that one. All right, so let's get started here. Here's the first piece of art.
That was cool. That was a very unique style.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's awesome.
Anime-ish. I love that.
And here it is, a little bit larger. Thank you to Jesse Callan for sending over artwork. And Chris had some this week as well. So this is one of the tattoos that Chris sent over.
Yeah. I thought this one was really cool until I saw the one you're about to show everybody. That one blows this one away. And this one I feel like is amazing. But
this is amazing. Like, yeah, this one's tremendous. I mean, it is. It's nice, man. Like the detail and the mask. And I mean, it's just, it's really cool.
And yeah, and the Firefly logo. And
yeah. Let me in at the bottom. Awesome.
I thought this was really cool. I don't know if this is AI or someone actually made this, but I thought it was pretty neat nonetheless that somebody came up with a Wyatt Sicks championship. I love the lantern on it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I saw this. I was like, man, I would love to have a replica.
Yeah.
to put up. This one's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Eric for sharing art. All right, I feel like I need a drum roll, but I'm not gonna have a drum roll. Here we go. Here we go. So the white dot is obviously not a part of it, but YouTube is not fond of nipples. So I covered it up, but the tattoo is freaking unreal. And this is Stefano Shaheen.
Even the gloves, like the stitching in it and stuff, that is one of the most detailed tattoos I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, that's just wild. And then here's a little bit close up of the mask. That's just crazy.
Yeah, that is so cool.
Like, we were talking about the detail in the hair before the show started. But yeah, that's crazy. So shout out to all the artists. Shout out to those of you who got tattoos. These tattoos are freaking awesome.
Oh yeah.
They are awesome. All right, man. So I guess we will get into to some theories and discussion. What I want to do, we've got a really fun tweet to kind of break down and analyze, and I really want us to have fun and like fantasy book with it and
stuff
I thought like that.
Hard thing to talk about.
Yeah. So I think we've got we'll have some fun with that last little bit of the show. But Chris, once you got a chance to watch this, what did you think about the Wyatt Sicks having that match on SmackDown? We finally get to see him in the ring again.
Could not be happier. Like, man, it feels like it has been so long. I mean, it has, but it's like I almost forgot what it's like to have them be in an actual match. I was so happy to see that, and it was cool that it was kind of spur of the moment. It wasn't announced, last week or anything. We didn't know. We thought that might happen, but we didn't know for sure. So that was cool to see that they were going to have an impromptu match against one of the tag teams. So yeah, definitely enjoyed it.
Yeah. And I can tell you now that when I found out it was against the Motor City Machine Guns, I was just torn apart because I love both. So
yeah.
Chris, do you think that this is something we'll get on a regular basis or a pretty regular basis, that seeing them in matches in some shape or form?
I think so. It kind of seems like the way they did it were like they were deciding amongst themselves which tag team should go face the Wyatt Sicks, all the tag teams, and then the way Nick Aldis picked one. I'm thinking we may get, next week there'll be a different one. We might run through all of them.
Yeah.
And maybe once they've done that, they'll, Aldis will grant them a tag team title match or whatever. If they beat all the tag teams, then, that would be a good way to earn themselves into it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think if they do what they did on Friday night, it's kind of hard to deny that they deserve a shot at some point. So what did you think of the match and how they looked in terms of move set and everything that you saw in the match and kind of their dominance?
I thought it was good. I'm going to go on a little rant here because of a comment that I saw in the Firefly Funhouse fan group of someone criticizing the match and Dexter Lumis specifically, and talking about a botch he had, and that of course made me mad. And I, responded to them and like, the typical thing, like, well, let's see you do it better. And he's like, well, I'm not a paid professional wrestler, so of course I can't do it better, but he is, so he should be able to nail a simple move. And I'm like, well, first off, this is live TV. They get one shot to do it. No one is perfect. No one does everything right the very first time. And you cannot expect, if you have that expectation of people, then you're going to be disappointed all the time. Because no one's perfect. No one can do everything right the first time. And, you know, this is their first match back since last year? Like,
Yep.
You know, there's probably a little ring rust there. Like, big deal. You know, it didn't bother me at all. Didn't affect my enjoyment of the match or anything. It was a little hiccup and whatever. You know, I still enjoyed the match. Thought it was good, and they're only going to get better. You know, getting some more time in the ring. So, yeah. Just one of those things. That always makes me mad when people say things like that.
I mean, professional wrestling isn't ballet. It's not a figure skating routine.
Yeah.
It's not a hip hop dance routine. It is physical, and I think Joe, you know, the way he describes it, I really like it. So I'm going to use it here. He says that it's basically people doing stunts, like movie stunts.
Oh yeah.
But live. And you know, people they're gonna misstep. They're gonna have, you know, a moment here or there where maybe they get lost in the moment. It just happens.
Yeah. And in movies, they hardly ever get it right the first time. They get to do multiple takes. These guys don't get that.
Exactly. And to your other point, I find it interesting that this person correctly pointed out that they aren't a paid professional wrestler. So I think anything after that, like talking about a simple move, there's no such thing.
Yeah, exactly. And you got to think too. I mean, you know, they're not wrestling by themselves. They're wrestling with another person. Sometimes that person maybe not be on the same page or anything. Like, you know, it takes teamwork between whoever the person is wrestling to make it look good and stuff. And it's not always going to be perfect.
Right. Yeah. I mean, people are always. Go ahead, Chris.
I was like, I enjoyed the match. Thought the moves looked good. I still love that move that him and Gacy do, where Gacy picks him up and slams him down the guy. I don't know. It's just such a cool move. And I thought I think they work really good together, and they're just going to get better and better. I feel like the more time they get to spend in the ring, especially if they're going to keep having tag team matches like this.
Yeah, and I mean you get put in there against one of the best tag teams ever. That says a lot, I think. But yeah, I thought it was really good. See, Dexter and Joe Gacy have a lot of great chemistry as a team, and it's really fun to watch them do some of the things that they do, and to see Dexter get up on the top rope and do that leg drop. I mean, his back and hips are going to be shot 10 years from now, but it looks awesome when he does it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really good to see them wrestle again after such a long time of not having them in the ring. Chris, one of the last questions I want to ask is, was there a moment, you know, either in ring or something that happened outside the ring that stood out to you most, that something that really got your attention?
It was a couple times during the match. I think a couple times. I know at least once for sure, but I think it was a couple times. I loved how they panned the camera during the match and looked at Howdy sitting there in the rocking chair. That reminded me so much of Bray in the early days of the Wyatt family, when like Harper and Rowan would be having a tag team match and Bray would just be sitting there watching the rocking chair. I love that little callback there. It was so cool the way they showed Howdy sitting there watching, just like Bray used to do. So I absolutely love that.
Yeah, I thought that was awesome. And then, you know, when they were getting ready to end the match, Howdy gave him the signal and did the yeah. I love that.
Yeah, that was good too.
that stood out to me. It was like, man, that's such a full circle moment, such a great moment.
Yeah, I was happy to see too. You know, the last couple times we've seen them recently, they didn't have their masks on, so I was happy to see that during the entrance they all came down in their masks again. I was hoping that wasn't going to be something that was going away or anything.
Yeah, I'm glad that they did that, and man, it was just good to see them as a group again. The amazing guy saying we missed a big thing on SmackDown. Not only did the Wyatt Sicks have Nightbird logos on their Tron, but also the number 6 in a circle. I believe that Alexa is the 6th and Nightbird of the Wyatt Sicks.
I did notice that. I like that. I thought that was cool having this, that they changed up their Tron, had the 6 and the Nightbird logo and stuff. We'll have to wait and see as far as the Alexa stuff, if you know what that has to do with them down the road. But yeah, I like the change. I think they did a really good job with their entrance as a whole, and you know, updating the graphics and stuff like that. Look good,
and it felt different. I don't know if that's just because we haven't seen them, in a while, but it just felt different. Like I felt more emotion behind it. It was just, like more pumped up for me. So I really enjoyed it.
Shout out! something else I wanted to bring up too, and shout out to C Wrestling for this, because he talked about this on his video, and I totally agree with him. I don't know what it would be, but I would love to see him do something like this. He talked about how the crowd just didn't seem to be too into it. I mean, there was some cheering for both teams because they're both well liked, but overall the crowd was kind of quiet during it. It seems like, and I hadn't really noticed this until he pointed out, like what the crowd seems to really get into nowadays is like catchphrases and like something like that people do that they can do too, to get to, you know, with like just like Jey Uso and the Yeet thing. Like they need something like that. The Wyatt Sicks need to come up with something to interact with the crowd, to get the crowd into it, something that they can chant or something back. I feel like would really help them get over with the crowd. Like I said, C Wrestling said that, and I totally agree with that. I'm not sure what that is, but I hope that somebody can maybe hear that from C Wrestling and put that in WWE's ear. I think that would be a really good thing for them. If they could find some way to connect with the crowd more, it would get them, you know, the crowd more engaged during their matches.
Man, that is interesting. I mean, yeah, I will say it's like they said, let's take Stone Cold and The Rock, their best catchphrases. Let's amplify it because that's what people want. And my goodness, does it work? But again, I think we talked about this before. What's the next thing for those folks? Like LA Knight at some point is going to have to find something else, possibly. Jey Uso is going to have to go away from Yeet. So let me ask this. I mean, that's an interesting concept, and I think that's right. Let's have some fun with that. Throw out some ideas in the chat. Let us know what you would want to chant, have the crowd chant, whatever the case may be. What phrase would you use?
Even just like you said of Howdy, I mean, that could be a cool moment if they really play into that, to where Howdy does that and does the yeah really loud and get the crowd to do it too. Like that could be a good thing that could work. Yeah, I think if you're getting to the end of the match and that's something that Howdy does every time, and they mic them up and they actually bring more attention to it. I think it'll catch. Yeah, that could be something I could see the crowd latching on to. And or if they did some kind of a thing like off of their entrance or something, that like off of play off of Bray where they got everybody in the crowd to yell, "We're here," or something like that.
Yeah, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Bring that back. Yeah, it's a good bit of nostalgia. James saying "Yowie Wowie" chant.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Deanna said, "What if they bring back the Fun House, but not the original, but a new form of it?"
I would absolutely love that.
I think that would be an interesting concept. I'd be interested to see how they do it, and from whose perspective.
Yeah,
Is it from Howdy's perspective, or what are we seeing? Who are we seeing, and where is this coming from? But yeah, the Yowie Wowie chant, I like it. Deanna saying that way we get a segment and a match. Yeah, I'm down for it.
Oh yeah.
Anything we can do to see them
more of a twisted, creepy version of the Funhouse or something, like from Howdy's perspective, inside Howdy's mind.
I feel like the setting would have to be like a dark, dingy, like shed, or I mean, some of the stuff they've done before, like some of the locations they've been in before where it's not really distinct. I think something like that works too. But yeah, dark and really dingy. I mean, shoot, so dark and dingy, have cobwebs. Not the real fake like party looking cobweb.
Or something that would be good for this is that, it's been talked about in the lore leading up to this stuff, a cave.
Yeah.
That could be cool.
Yeah, that could be. I think a swamp could work. I think, in that setting, like maybe you go through the swamp to get to their version of the Funhouse. I think you have to set the scene for people to let you know that, hey, this ain't all sunshine and rainbows anymore.
Yeah.
Instead of a Funhouse, how about a Hell House? There you go.
It's be interesting to see what happens. I've seen, I feel like it's one of those things we've heard these rumors for a long time, so it's not doesn't tell anything, but I could see it at the same time. I've seen some little more rumors picking up lately that people think that at some point Howdy could be to play the Fiend. I think that would be really interesting if they ever decide to go that route.
Yeah, that would be very interesting. The amazing guy saying, "I wish they would use more of the Wyatt lore, like the Wyatt compound." I think we're getting bits and pieces more than what we were getting before. I think we're starting to see
things really slow for now. Like they just came back. I really hope too that they do some of that stuff. I hope that they slowly, unroll more of that we find out more about, backstory and things like that. Tie some more stuff in with Bray. Find out more about what their long-term goals are, things like that. I really hope that they lean into that a little more over time. But I think it's good to do what they're doing now. They're really establishing them right now more on the wrestling side, which is good because at the end of the day, this is about wrestling. I think before it was a little too much about the other stuff and not so much the wrestling. So I hope they can find a better balance this time between all of the story and the wrestling and tie it together more. That's my hope. And so far, I think they're doing a good job of that, of really getting them established in wrestling. And then hopefully they can kind of add some more of the story into it along the way.
Yeah, I like that. I think I don't disagree. I want to see them use more.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Of that lore, for sure. But I think I don't think you can let everything out at once. I think you have to let it kind of play out and work slowly, as opposed to just kind of getting everything all at once, and then you're a year down the road and you've seen it all. So that would just be my only thing there. Let me So, I don't know what's going on. Okay, there we go. Question: do you think that Triple H believes in the Wyatt Sicks and Bo/Taylor's vision for the group? Because honestly, this tag team feud stuff seems a little lame, in your opinion. Chris, you go ahead and because I've got some thoughts on that, but
I mean, I really want to say yes. I think he does. I think that Bray was really special to Triple H, and he's talked about that before. And I think that if he didn't, that they wouldn't even be doing any of this. So I want to say, yeah, that I do think Triple H believes in it. Yes, I could see why some people say they wouldn't because of the things that have happened and stuff. But I think overall they wouldn't be doing it if he didn't. And I can see people's perspective too about the tag team division. But like I said, I think this is a good way to get them established on the wrestling side of things. I feel like the tag team division is really strong. Has a lot of talent, a lot of people they can work with. I really think that's a good way to get them established in wrestling regularly, and on TV a lot and stuff. So I do hope it expands beyond that further. Like we've talked about, I'd love to see them branch out and have some other members of the group go after other people simultaneously while they're doing tag team stuff. But I'm definitely hopeful that it's going to lead somewhere. Yeah, if that was all they ever did was just did tag team stuff, I could definitely see that getting stale and stuff. But I don't think that's the case. I think they're just trying to establish them and get people back on their side and people to care about them after being gone so long.
Mm-hmm. And I think another thing that this does, it also elevates your tag division. It puts your tag division on TV a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have another segment for that division to be involved in, which is good for everybody involved.
Yeah.
Especially if you want to begin to push the tag division going forward. So I think for me, if we're still doing this a year from now, yeah, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
But I think as a means to reintroduce the Wyatt Sicks to the audience, to new viewers, because you got to think too, you always have new viewers.
Yeah.
And if you can find a way to bring them into the fold without having to explain absolutely everything right away and just do it gradually, I think you got to give them enough information, but also build their interest. So, that's what I mean by doing that gradually. But
over 6 months of them being off TV, they probably did get a lot of new viewers.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, you've got to keep that in mind. So, but yeah, I think it's good for now. Is my answer. Is my long-winded way to say I think it's good for now. I think work them back into the fold. I mean, people are talking about making mistakes during matches. That stuff happens when you've had a lot of time off. So, that'll get them back in, the ring awareness that they need.
Yeah.
And
look at Penta's first couple matches. He, had some things that didn't go the greatest, but man, look how much better he is now. He's, fantastic every week. There's always going to be a case of ring rust when people come back or come in from a different company or things like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of adjustment, working with new people, working in a different place, and different circumstances.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think we just got to be. I mean, I know people get tired of hearing be patient, but I think we have to be. I think we have to continue to be patient with how they're being brought along. I think we have to be patient with, you know, they're gonna have moments. I mean, all people do, where they're gonna make a mistake, and we got to be okay with that as fans. You know, so
yeah. And I hope, you know, I'm looking at this in a long-term thing. I don't want to see them go away anytime soon, because if once the Wyatt Sicks are gone, like, you know, who else is it to carry on Bray's legacy at that point? So I'm hoping that that's their thinking too. Of it might, you know, the Wyatt Sicks might be around wrestling on TV for the next 5 years. Like, they got to have stuff to keep interesting and fill that you know, that gap for the next 5 years. So we don't need to get everything all at once. They want to have things play out in a good way, good pacing and everything for that time period if they're going to have them around long term.
Yeah, I just think we gotta be patient. Deanna saying, in the words of Paul Heyman, we're only in the third inning. Shoot, we might be in the second.
Yeah.
All right, so we talked about this at the top of the show, but I want to do this now because I think it's going to be a lot of fun, because I do think having a little bit of fun with this will be good for all of us. So, Chris, since you sent this over to me, I'm going to have you set this up for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so somebody had tweeted this idea, and Matt Hardy, I guess, came across it and responded to it. Honestly, Bray Wyatt should have been adopted in the Hardy family after Matt Hardy beat him in the Ultimate Deletion. And then Matt Hardy responded to that. Coincidentally, that's exactly what we wanted to do. Bray had an amazing story laid out, which he had lost all of his family and wanted to earn his way into joining the House Hardy family. It was super creative and wildly entertaining.
Immediately when I saw that, my mind just started going to 1,000 different places.
Oh yeah.
And I thought, we've gotta like fantasy book this thing. We gotta have a lot of fun with it. So, Chris, what were your initial thoughts when you saw this exchange?
Initially, I wish that Jodie was here because, as everyone probably knows, the Ultimate Deletion match was the first thing that she ever saw of Bray Wyatt, and what instantly had her hooked and made her a Bray Wyatt fan. So I could only imagine, as much as she liked to talk about things and theorize, where she would go with this, as far as having some Bray be a part of the House Hardy family.
Yeah, she would have had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, I'm sure she could have came up with some wild ideas.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I could imagine the conversations now, just random thoughts about how they could do this stuff. I mean, it would be amazing to see this. Chris, when do you think the right time would have been to do that? And would you? Well, let's start with that one. When would have been the right time for them to do that?
I feel like they were really, you can see how they really were heading that way. Because I mean, Matt, think about that time period. He really had lost all of his family. You know, Braun was off on his own. Harper and Rowan were the Bludgeon Brothers in the tag team division there for a while. So he really had, all alone. He had this, feud / partnership with Matt Hardy for a bit. And they had, had a tag team title run and stuff. But yeah, for the most part, he was alone. And I would have loved to see them lean into that more. And especially, we never got anything involving with Jeff Hardy, Brother Nero, in this too. The things they could have done with him as part of this, him interacting with Bray too. And maybe even them having some matches with Willow versus Bray and stuff like that could have been awesome. So yeah, and the creative minds, I mean, I've always thought Matt and Jeff Hardy were right up there with Bray as some of the other most creative minds in wrestling. The things they could have done together, I'm sure would have blown us all away.
Yeah. I mean, I just think about the vignettes. I mean, think about the ones that we got,
Mm-hmm.
and then think about what we could have gotten with all of them together.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, imagine that as a faction. Matt and Jeff and Bray together.
Do you think if they had done that maybe that could have saved all of them from that initial round of releases?
I think it could have. I mean, I could definitely see. I think for the most part, I heard, people were pretty positive about the stuff that Matt and Bray did together. I think it was pretty highly received. That Ultimate Deletion match, I think was one of the best cinematic matches they did at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely think that if it would have been received well as I think it would have, then yeah, that probably would have saved them.
Yeah, I think about them as a faction, and you think about the business side of it, man. The merch would have just flown.
Oh yeah.
That merch would have been insane.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was a good time too. People seem to be really receptive to something different back then.
Mm-hmm.
It was something that really broke off from traditional wrestling, and we hadn't really. I mean, I can hardly ever think of many instances other than a few things Bray did before that of a cinematic match. Before the Ultimate Deletion was one of the first major cinematic matches that I remember ever seeing, and it blew me away. I still love to go back and watch that match. I mean, that's one of my all-time favorite matches ever, just because of how innovative it was for the time and stuff. And people, like I said, I think people seem to really latch on to that. And if they could have had the opportunity to do even more ideas like that they had, I think people would have ate it up.
Yeah, that could have been some absolute magic, I believe, with those three, and then whoever else they decided to bring along.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Yeah, I mean, between the ones Bray did, and then the Hardys obviously have gone on and done more cinematic matches and stuff themselves with in other promotions, TNA and such, and like. Those three guys are really the masters of cinematic matches when you think about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you really have to like shouting out Matt and Jeff all the way back to the time they were in TNA before they came back to WWE during that time. They were really the innovators.
Yeah.
And then you bring in Bray with his, like you said, his creativity. And the things he was doing with vignettes, and I mean, that's just. I'll put it like this: I'd love to be a fly on the wall during that creative meeting.
Oh yeah, the stuff that they probably came up with, would have blown us all away.
Yeah,
and I would have loved to seen some continuation off that too. I always felt like the way they left the Ultimate Deletion match like that, like I would have loved to seen something more come out of it to carry on, what happened there.
Yeah. I mean, well, James Chadwick almost made me choke on my snack here.
Yeah,
Hardy's versus Wyatt Sicks around Halloween.
Yeah, take my money now, like Deanna said.
Yeah. Could you imagine if they did that, man? Oh my goodness.
Yeah. You never know. I have heard rumors that Matt and Jeff wanted to come do another run in WWE before they're done. So possible.
Because I'd be surprised if they don't go into the Hall of Fame next year.
Oh yeah. Well deserved.
Yeah. James saying you can do Willow and Broken Matt against the White. Yeah, That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Jeremy
I'd
saying,
love to see that. I'm sure they would do some callbacks to Bray in the midst of that too, as close as he was to all of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love the. Have you ever seen it's like a deleted scene from the Ultimate Deletion match where a boat comes out of that lake and it just has Bray's lantern in it, and the what's his name? The guy that's like their like gardener.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
He finds it and brings the lantern to Matt, and Matt just tells him to like put it inside or something. It's a cool little. Look it up on YouTube. It's like Ultimate Deletion deleted scene or something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Now I have to check that out. That's awesome. Jeremy saying it's too bad that Bray and Matt couldn't have worked with Papa H in charge. Yeah. Senior
Benjamin. That's right. I could not remember his name.
You figure the Hardys did a lot of their stuff in a few hours late night. Yeah.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. I mean, that's the power of it, man. It's taking those ideas and bringing them to life. And I mean, there is an audience that would, if you told some people, we'll give you 4 hours a week of nothing but cinematic matches and vignettes, there's a contingent of people that would be happy.
Mm-hmm.
Completely happy, don't need to watch anything else. That's all they would want. So yeah, that's just thinking about what could have been with that.
Oh, I know.
Just man.
Yeah. And then could you imagine if say that they worked together in that, and then that branched into what eventually did come about with Bray with the Firefly Funhouse stuff. Imagine Matt and Jeff working with them on the Firefly Funhouse.
Yeah.
The kind of characters and stuff they could have came up with.
Yeah. Man. So much good stuff.
Yeah.
But now I'm gonna go ahead.
It blows my mind too. I mean, we can never say enough about how amazing Bray's mind was and how creative he was. I mean, look at all the things that we have found out since he passed that people talked about that he had planned. Stuff with like him and Eric Young, and stuff with him and Bo, and stuff with him and Matt. Like, he had a million plans of stuff that he would have loved to do. He was constantly just thinking about things he would love to do with other people and stuff. It blows my mind that how creative he was, and how he never stopped trying to come up with new ideas and do new things for us.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Always an innovator, man.
Mm-hmm.
Always an innovator, and always making lemonade out of lemons.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way to put it. He was dealt some really crappy hands at times, but he found a way to persevere. And yeah. I mean, Deanna saying Bray is a storm you can't harness.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Deanna also saying, I think Joe Gacy's work. Joe Gacy falls into. Joe Gacy would work well with the Heart. Yeah, I think the whole group. I would love to see. I'd love to see them work with the whole group. I want to see a Howdy interaction.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot that I want to see with the Hardys if they come back, and I would assume that they will come back. So really,
I think they can't not have at least a small run in WWE before they're ready to call it quits. They spent too much time there.
This is. Ooh. I have a way to do it, James, that's a little bit different than this. But if they did that Hardys versus Wyatt's at the Hardy compound, how would you feel if they integrated Bray in that somehow, like a hologram or something similar to what they did with Paul Bearer Protector? How would you feel about
it? They did that a little bit, with Matt and the drone. They could have, how the drone like created a hologram of Matt talking. They could even do something like that. Have Bray be in the drone and have a hologram talking to them, interacting with them during the match.
They have that theater in the house. We've seen it a few times. What if we had an endless loop of Bray talking, vignettes, different things, just on a loop going on the movie screen? I think some people, I love the idea, but I think some people, when you say hologram, they immediately are like checked out because very few times has it been done well. And I mean, I think depending on how they did it, I have faith that they would do it well, but I think something that would be a little less. And plus, I also think a hologram would be really emotional. So I think maybe having his words playing in that theater room would be something that could
cut in different scenes or at the right time of it. Maybe things that are applicable, the Bray said or something like that.
Yeah. Man, so Chris, we did it again, man. It's every week, man. All right, so I'm gonna share what we've got coming up, and then we'll do some final thoughts before we get out of here. And I knew I was going to do this. I didn't even say it yet. So my bad. Folks, please drop a like on the stream. And if you are new to the channel, welcome. We are glad that you're here. Please subscribe so you can be a part of the conversation every single week. We are here for Fireflies Forever every single Tuesday at 6 p.m. Thursdays, again, I think we'll be having a lot of fun this week with TNA. 7:45. Sorry we couldn't do it last week, but we'll be back this week, 7:45 p.m. Eastern. Join us for that. Should be another great episode. And not sure about Sunday. We'll let you know about Sunday, but I know Joe's schedule is a little bit different right now. But we'll let you know. We'll keep you posted about that. But yeah, Chris, I'm gonna turn it over to you for some final thoughts, and then we'll get out of here.
Yeah, I'm really excited where things are going. It was awesome to get to see them back in a match, and I think that we're gonna get to see that a little more regularly now, which would be nice. And I'm still holding on to hope that we could see what we've talked about, maybe, and of them potentially having a match at SummerSlam. I feel like it's seeming like that could happen. Maybe a tag team title match in the near future for the Wyatt Sicks, which would be amazing.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited. And Alexa Bliss Gamer says they're excited to see Alexa versus Asuka. Asuka returned last night.
Asuka's always been one of my favorite female wrestlers. So, yeah, I'm definitely excited to see that. I think that's going to be a fantastic match between her and Alexa.
Yeah. And shout out Jason Baker for that mask, because that mask.
The new mask, very nice. They have a new shirt in the shop of that mask too, which is really cool.
Really.
Yep.
Man, that was fast. That was real fast.
We got quite a few new shirts all of a sudden up there. Some new Goldberg ones and that one and stuff. Funnily enough, I keep checking. I have not seen. They haven't had any new Wyatt Sicks shirts come out since they came back. I'm hoping maybe they're still cooking on some of those. Surely they got to have some new ones coming out soon. I need a new one.
Yeah, I got to get some merch. I need some merch. All right. Yeah, well, man. Yeah. Well, let's talk about that too before we get out of here. Thanks. Goldberg's back, and he's going to face Gunther.
Yeah.
At Saturday night's main event, and man,
I swear, if they have Goldberg take that belt off of Gunther, I'm gonna punch my TV.
But here's my question, though. Here's my question. I thought about this since I've been seeing people talk about it. What if they do it, but Seth cashes in?
Oh, Goldberg beats him, and then Seth cashes in on Goldberg.
Yeah.
I still think it hurts
Still
Gunther
hate
too
it.
much. Like,
Yeah.
you know, they've built Gunther up. I mean, that dude's a beast. Like, he should not lose to Goldberg ever.
Yeah.
Oh, James, I love it.
I'm not a fan of it. I don't care who the legend is. I don't think if a legend comes back and ends up facing someone, I don't think it should ever be for a title.
Yeah.
I just
Anyway, if he beats Gunther anyway at all, to me, it's the Fiend all over again.
Yeah.
You know, it's I don't like it one bit.
I mean,
he just walks in and gets a title match and then gets to win the title. I don't like it at all.
Something tells me that that's not going to happen, that he's not going to win it, but stranger things have happened.
Yeah.
We've been burned before.
I'm hoping, since it's Triple H and not Vince, that's not going to happen. If Vince was here 100%, I feel like that would happen. But if Vince was here and things were like they are right now, I'd be like, yeah, he's walking away with that thing. Yeah.
Let's hope not. Let's hope that that the Triple H regime is a little bit different in their thinking as to.
Hopefully, it's a good final match for Goldberg and a good send off and a handshake at the end or something like that. I'd be good with that. But yeah, anything else?
Maybe it's truly a if you beat me, I'll leave for good kind of deal. So
yeah,
maybe we'll see. All right, folks. Well, we're going to get out of here, but thank you all so much for joining us this week. We greatly appreciate it. Again, you know, even though I only did this once, I'm going to do it again before we go. So 2 times in the last 5 minutes is bad. Drop us a like on the video, and if you're new, please subscribe to the channel so you know when we have future content and you can be a part of the discussions. All right, Chris, man, this was a lot of fun.
Yep.
As always, man. Hopefully we get more this week, so we got more to talk about next week. So yeah,
hopefully.
Well, thank you all so much again. Enjoy wrestling this evening. We got NXT, AEW tomorrow night. Thursday night you've got Impact. Well, TNA Impact. Friday you got SmackDown. So a lot of good wrestling on. Enjoy it. And I've missed a lot of stuff. I know that there's a ton of other wrestling. But that's the point. There's a lot of wrestling. Go enjoy it. Have fun. Have a great rest of your week, folks. Hopefully we see you on Thursday for TNA, our TNA watch along. But if not, maybe we'll see you again next Tuesday to talk about some more theories. And hopefully we find out some, like another group or something. Maybe we can find out what the pitch was for Bray and the Righteous. I'd love to find out more information about that. So, all right, folks. Well, take care. Have a great rest of your evening. Have a great rest of your week. And we will see you again soon. Peace out.
I'm the color red in a world full of black and white.
Brace for the change, brace for the rage, brace for the wave. I've been going through it. Y'all know the pain, driving me insane. Deep in your veins, y'all know how I prove it. Step through the lanes, gripping the grain. Miles an hour, yeah, miles of fluid. Mask on, asking, why should I do it? Because no one is moving. I came from the swamp, the mud. Algorithm told me I was the plug. Feel for the fiend, you know what I mean. I've been through all of the lesson and hugs, and that is because I've had an all hope who enter here. So listen clear, I made you